Higher Education Loans Board, empowering dreams.
Many thanks for joining us for this edition of Channel One Weekend. It has been a very busy day. Floods still carrying away homes and schools. We have those details for you. Family Matters is on tonight. John Jacob Kuria will be here. He'll be speaking to the Kenya Film Classification Board CEO Ezekiel Mutua. That is an interview that you wouldn't want to miss. But first things first, the highlights. An ease for NYS scam suspects as the Directorate of Public Prosecutions commences review of files. Pain and anguish as 4 dams break their banks in Tiaty, displacing hundreds. And the story of a new dawn for Somalia in the special feature segment, Liberating Somalia. My name is Edward Kabasa. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Steve Ndunde. You can interact with us. The number is 22162 to indicate your name and where you are watching us from. A lot is going to be asked tonight in Family Matters. John Jacob Kuria will be speaking to KFCB CEO Ezekiel Mutua. And you can also tweet us at KBC Channel 1. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has received at least 10 files in connection with the 9 billion shillings National Youth Service scam. Director of Public Prosecutions Nuruddin Haji confirmed receiving the files from the Director of Criminal Investigations George Kinoti, paving way for possible prosecutions beginning tomorrow.
The process of bringing to book suspects of the 9 billion shillings National Youth Service scandal moved a step closer after Director of Public Prosecutions received at least 10 files from the Director of Criminal Investigations George Kinoti. On his Twitter handle, Haji acknowledged receiving inquiry files number 51 to 60 of 2018 through a letter from the DCI. A team of experienced prosecutors led by the DPP is currently undertaking final review of the files, with the first phase of the investigations already finalized. More than 40 suspects in the latest NYS scam have appeared before the detectives at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. The development coming as commercial banks came under sharp focus over corruption in the country. A section of leaders accompanying Deputy President William Ruto for a church service at St. Peter's Catholic Church, Lanet, calling for a probe on the financial institutions.
As we look at those corrupt people and the people who open the taps, we must also be very careful about the banks who allow withdrawals of so huge amounts ambazo zinafanya hata sisi tunatupatia wasiwasi.
Tunataka wale ambao wanachunguza ufisadi wachunguze wale wameiba na pia wale ambao walifunguliwa hawa namna ya kuiba.
The legislators is saying that there is no way abnormally large amounts of money could have been deposited or withdrawn from an individual's account without the banks asking hard questions.
What is going on with these banks? Why are they able to give this kind of money like that with no questions asked? Ebu waende uweke pesa kidogo kwa bank uone utaulizwa hata mama yako alikuwa nani na hiyo pesa ulitoa wapi.
Deputy President William Ruto saying the government will not allow the progress made over the last 5 years to go down the drain courtesy of a few corrupt individuals.
We are not going to sacrifice the prosperity of this country and the progress of Kenya at the altar of the greed of a few individuals, either in the public or the private sector.
Remind me your name. The National Youth Sector Alliance calling for the freezing of assets of individuals mentioned in the NYS, NCPB and Youth Enterprise Fund scandals.
So those individuals need to be identified. Once they are identified, we do not need any task force. We just need the assets frozen.
If the runaway corruption is not arrested, then we will be left with no choice but to call on the most productive segment of this society, which is the youth, to boycott paying taxes to KRA.
The calls coming amid proposals to have corruption treated as a capital offense.
Corruption needs to be dealt with as a crime like terrorism, child trafficking, robbery with violence.
More than 10 billion shillings is said to have been lost in scandals involving critical government departments. Samson Kitavi, Channel 1 News.
Thank you very much, Samson Kitavi, for that report. And in other matters, tens of families in Baringo County are struggling to cope with their losses of after 4 dams spilled water, sweeping away homes. The flood waters left 2 women dead and destroyed infrastructure in a region that was recovering from the adverse effects of drought. Water Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui has ordered the distillation of 3 dams as the government moves to cushion area residents from a possible calamity. Though the rains are reported to have subsided in some parts of the country, some Kenyans are still reeling from the effects of heavy rains pounding various regions. In Baringo County, 2 women died and hundreds others were displaced after 4 dams, Tepeleko, Kanapus, Kacheptuya, Chepelo, Chemulunjo, spilled their waters.
Tumekuja hapa, tumesunguka, tumeona hiyo damu. Na kweli tumeona iko shida. Shida ni kwamba hizi dams kweli zimekaa kwa muda wa miaka 50 zimetusaidia, lakini muda huo wote imeanza kufunikwa na mchanga, miti imemea na pia watu wameishi, na unakuta sasa hiyo mabwawa zetu zinaanza kuseeka, ndio zinaanza kubomoka.
Tens of families now forced to live with the consequences of the tragedy, even as they count themselves lucky after escaping without injuries. The spilled water is destroying critical infrastructure, including roads and schools, amid concerns that a bigger tragedy could occur if no urgent measures are taken.
Tutatoa tarakimu zote na hesabu zote, alafu tuende tuchipange, tuweze kurekebisha hizi mabwawa, ndio watu wasikose maji na pia watu wasiumie kama maji imeshika. Lakini kuna zingine ambao itatubidi tumwage maji. Kwa sababu ya ile mambo ilifanyika Solai, hatutaki tena kuona maafa kama hiyo, because hizi dams inakuwa na inaleta shida sana.
Water Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui ordering the distillation of 4 dams in the area as the government moves to avert a disaster. This as Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, who was speaking in Budalangi when he distributed relief food, reiterated the government's commitment to support flood victims, even as he called for more collaboration between the national and county governments.
Tumetangaziwa hapa siku ya leo magunia 1,300 ya mahindi, tuko na maharagwe 400. Haya tuwataka tuweke peupe, mjue vile viongozi wenu wamesema ya kwamba kila chakula kinakuja hapa ni chenu.
The Weather Department has warned of sustained rains in parts of the country. Rainfall is expected over western and central parts of the country, with strong winds of above 12.5 meters per second expected over the eastern half of the country. To security matters, where fears of a possible abductions orchestrated by groups sympathetic to Al-Shabaab militants remain rife in Dadaab, with the region recording mysterious disappearances within the last 30 days. Dadaab MP Mohammed Dahir says at least 9 people, including a sheikh, have disappeared over the last 1 month, raising fresh security fears among area residents.
The cycle that Dadaab MP Mohammed Dahir says has assumed a new dimension with the latest abduction of a sheikh by unknown persons.
Yesterday evening, we had unidentified people who went to the mosque in Liboy, and they picked 3 citizens, innocent, including the imam of the mosque of Liboy.
Dahir saying the obtaining situation has forced a section of area residents to flee from the area amid fears that organized groups could be behind the latest abductions.
We have the law enforcement agencies, the police, the CID, we have also the intelligence, we have numerous arms of security personnel. Yet people have been disappearing without trace.
Dahir urging the government to enhance security in the area to contain the situation.
We are appealing to the leadership of this nation, His Excellency the President, His Excellency the Deputy President, the Minister for Interior, and those who are managing our security. Please, that situation is not going to be acceptable.
Meanwhile, residents of Kaviani in Kadhiani constituency decried rising insecurity within the region after 6 people reportedly lost their lives under mysterious circumstances. The latest attack targeted night guards at Nzai Koni market.
Kama ingewezekana tuongezwe askari na pia wawe wanaenda patrol.
This as police in Voi launched investigations into an incident where a dismembered body of a man was found lying along a railway line. Detectives have already questioned eyewitnesses who were on the scene after preliminary finding indicated that the body could have been transferred to the scene from a different location.
Mimi nataka serikali iangalie, ichunguze, ijue sababu ni nini. Maana kama angekuwa amegonga obvious nani ingeonekana, mali amegongewa kungeonekana, lakini damu kama ni kidogo, mara mguu unapatikana kule, sijui kichwa huku, mwili huku.
Kwa hiyo train hamna damu inaonekana wala kitu chochote, ili tujue sasa kama ni kweli huyo mtu alikanyagwa ama aliuliwa.
Meanwhile, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has called on Kenyans to support ongoing police reforms as the government moves to enhance security across the country. Speaking in Nyamira County, Matiang'i challenged Kenyans to work closely with security agents so as to boost their morale, even as he pledged government support for the men in uniform.
Tafute namna ya kuwaombea nao, kushirikiana nao, tuwapende ili ile kazi wanatufanyia ya kutulinda nao waifanye na bidii na amani, so that we can have peace in the country.
And in other matters, drama unfolded at the Ministry of Agriculture, State Department of Livestock, staff quarters in Kabete after hired goons descended on the premises claiming to own the government land. The ensuing commotion forcing Livestock Principal Secretary Harry Kimtai to tour the premises, warning unscrupulous land dealers that the government will not tolerate those intent on grabbing public land.
Sunday morning at the State Department of Livestock staff quarters in Kabete. One would have confused these for a construction site. On the contrary, these are images of what remains after over 100 goons attempted to evict a government staff from the state property at dawn alleging ownership.
I came to the kitchen. This one is the kitchen here. Then I checked to the window. My dog was barking. I checked to the window. I saw a lorry that was offloading some poles there. Then I waited for some time. I gained courage. I went and asked them what is happening. They told me this one is a private property and you should quit because that house is going to be down within the shortest time possible. Then they started building the fence, whatever you have seen, the fence. Others came to, started demolishing the house.
As we speak, this compound is holding very highly deadly pathogens. That's why they have to be held in a laboratory we are calling BSL-3 or biosecurity level 3, because some of them can even be used for bioterrorism. And the research that is being done, undertaken here, is some of the laboratories that are being done here are to guarantee that the Kenyans are very safe when they eat foods of animal origin.
Livestock Principal Secretary Harry Kimtai would later visit the site, terming the move by the private developer illegitimate.
It's an ongoing war because we stopped one that was trying to build, and that one took our officer to court, and we are meeting in court. That one we are there, we are defending our officer, the farm manager who was taken to court, and we are telling them, don't take our officers to court, take the ministry, and specifically the State Department of Livestock.
The Principal Secretary cautioning those trespassing into government property that their days are numbered, even as he revealed that the process of issuing all government departments with land documents is underway.
All the land that belongs to the State Department of Livestock, we are going to survey and to make sure that we have one title for the land.
Cases of land grabbing are on the rise, public and private land alike, with those afflicted registering their displeasure with the court process, which they claim is too slow to deliver justice. Rose Gakwa for Channel 1 Weekend.
Very much, Rose Gakwa, for that report. We are taking a short break, but don't go too far. We still have plenty more lined up for you. This is Channel 1 Weekend.
Every 4 minutes is a chance for you to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, enter paybill number 295888, account name KBC, and amount from 10 shillings or more. Then select your 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. You can win up to 30 million shillings. Start playing now and win. Mega Dollar. Big winners every 4 minutes. This week on KBC Channel 1.
It's time that we brought back the seriousness in our universities.
Then you tell me that I should sit for exams. Seriously? I know what I want in life.
Elena.
What happened to Elena?
I saw Monte Cristo chasing her and I couldn't catch up. They took off in a truck.
Come on, let's get going now.
Lucia, I was right. Mom admitted it. That she and Dad adopted me when I was little.
What?
Have you confirmed whether they're having an affair?
What do you mean? I was there. I saw them. Huh? How are we Lintawafuta?
Welcome back to the program. Imagine living in a country where civil war has been the order of the day for years. That is what almost 3 generations in Somalia have known since former President Mohamed Siad Barre was overthrown in 1991. But the narrative is slowly changing after the Kenya Defense Forces and by extension the African mission in Somalia arrived at the once lawless state 10 years ago. And as Samson Kitavi reports, Mogadishu and Kismayo international airports are once again in operation. The once rebel-controlled Kismayo seaport is up and running. Here now is Liberating Somalia.
The silence of the night consumes the fading sounds of the night creatures. Only twinkles of the stars beaming in the dark. But all of a sudden, the serene night is disrupted by a deafening bang, followed by mortar fire. This is what you could call a typical night here in Somalia. This is what these soldiers wake up to every day since the incursion into the troubled nation by the Kenya Defence Forces and by extension African Mission in Somalia or AMISOM. 22,000 troops deployed under the aegis of the African Union have been fighting a costly war here.
If we notice anything that maybe comes or approaches the defensive position that is unusual, we raise an early warning to the rest of the troops so that we can have a good response.
It's a war that left infrastructure dilapidated and a country dysfunctional. A new dawn now beckons. At least a semblance of peace and sanity is in the offing in a country that has known no peace for decades.
People could not land here the way you have just landed. Yourselves, you landed, you have never heard the sound of a bullet. That was not possible before AMISOM came here.
While pockets of militants still remain in and out of the remote areas of Somalia, most of the militants have been flushed out of urban areas. Somalia's capital city, Mogadishu, has been a major casualty, bearing the brunt of the civil war. And so the soldiers prioritized seizing the city from the Al-Shabaab insurgents.
The weight of this helmet is about 3 kilograms. The weight of this body hammer is about 10 kilograms. That's the weight one has to bear to walk freely in the streets of Somalia. The same weight our soldiers are here to lift from the shoulders of the Somali people.
These are not easy decisions to take. The decisions that cost lives, cost resources, cost many things. And yet the clarity of mind and the steadfastness of the government made it that, well, this sacrifice is necessary.
Functional state has been an uphill task since the military regime. A reasonable milestone has been made. Mogadishu has now a functional government with a mayor at the helm.
The challenge now we face, which makes Mogadishu the unique city around the globe, is we have over 500,000 internal displaced people in the city.
To win the war against Al-Shabaab, the troops regrouped into regions or sectors. Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, Djibouti, Ethiopia, each have a sector to man. It's an approach that has pushed the Al-Shabaab militants almost into the periphery.
Before, if you recall, previously there used to be a lot of pirates, and I'm sure you have not heard of any pirates anymore, thanks to AMISOM.
The Kenya Defence Forces occupies Sector 2 region, the expansive area along the Kenya-Somalia border. KDF has kept its grip in Afmado and the Dobli regions with a staggering success against the Al-Shabaab militia.
We are fighting an enemy who is actually watching me and probably planning to come for my head. I'll tell him, come on brother, come baby, come.
The enemy has equally adopted survival tactic by accusing the soldiers of a plot to divert their religion and culture.
They have brothers and sisters in Al-Shabaab side, so they will still fall onto the propaganda being propagated by.
And these people want to kill and yet claim that they do it on behalf of God. Which God is that kills? God gave life.
Occasional flooding in Kenya Defence Forces area of operation, especially in Afmado, sometimes slowing down the mission.
This is what really happens on an average day as our soldiers try to secure Somalia. But terrain worsened by impromptu rains.
The use of improvised explosive devices has also turned out to be a weapon of choice by the militants against the KDF soldiers, with fatalities. The United Nations is countering these by introducing anti-improvised explosive devices training. For instance, this mobile machine can detect, capture in camera, and inspect a car for explosives. But with the ground operation proving tricky due to the continued use of improvised explosive devices, the KDF soldiers have resorted to using air surveillance and aerial attacks with commendable results.
We are trained well. We have got maneuvers that we can carry out to maneuver such kind of weapons. In fact, they don't even have RPG alone. They have a weapon called ZU.
And it's not all warfare in Somalia. The soldiers have created a rapport with the locals here. On this particular day, the Kenya Defence Forces football team from Dobley Base and the local youth football club played a friendly match in which the youth emerged winners, taking home a trophy and some soccer kits. KDF is also operating an equivalent to a level 2 hospital at its Dobley headquarters.
Jina yangu ni Ismail. Mimi naishi hapo Dobley. Sasa kuna meno nauma. Nilikuja hapo ya daktari wanisaidie, wanitoa hiyo meno. Nimesaidika kabisa.
The soldiers also offer medical services at the only district hospital at Afmado.
Our presence here has really made a big impact. We can say that we have been able to create that confidence in them, considering the local population itself doesn't have the professional doctors and nurses are available.
The military incursion in Somalia is not in vain. Kismayu Airport is an example. The facility is fully operational following its seizure from the Al-Shabaab militants.
With the support of the Kenyan forces, who were able to reach where we are today, and we really appreciate.
Close to 2 decades, the Kismayo seaport has been under the hands of the insurgents. The port is up and running now thanks to the AMISOM and by extension the Kenya Defence Forces.
The two facilities are in Jubaland state of Somalia, which has its own president, Ahmed Mohamed Islam.
As Al-Shabaab, the head of snake, is in this area because of geographical environment.
With Somalia trying to steady its feet, AMISOM is working on a gradual transition plan that will see the federal government of Somalia take over.
How it will go, we shall know when we get there.
But is Somalia ready to be on its own? Samson Kitavi reporting for Channel 1 News.
Thank you very much, Samson Kitavi, for that report. The Turkana community believes that infants born with disability are a bad omen. According to the society, these toddlers should be killed because they are of no value. And should they survive their younger years, most parents deny them the right to education. In fact, the word grave is used in a derogatory manner to refer to people with disability to signify they only belong in the grave. They do so in direct contravention of the Constitution. The World Disability Day was marked this week to sensitize people on the need to treat this special category with dignity. Our correspondent Ibani Sudi spoke to 3 people who have undergone discrimination based on their disability in Turkana County and now brings us their story.
18-year-old Jacinta Akwom is lucky to have survived murder at the tender age of 3. Her father had contemplated throwing her into a river because he did not want to raise a child of no value.
First wife, akuwa na disabled child. Second, akuwa na dad yakavunja record akazazi disabled child.
His thinking, informed by the Turkana cultural belief that children born with disability are a sign of bad luck. Some villagers came to her rescue, and that is how Jacinta's life was saved. Monica Esinyen, an evangelist at that time, met Jacinta's mother at one of her crusades. Jacinta's mother requested that she help her raise the child away from her father, who wanted to kill her.
Leta John Paul Disabled Octa akaendelea hapo na masomo mpaka akamaliza standard 8 akaitwa Turkana Girls.
Save the Children, a non-governmental organization based in Turkana, has been running a project called From Exclusion to Inclusion.
Form 2, kapatana na Save the Children, kanipeleka lecture, kanipima miguu, nikate artificial leg, sasa wakantrain hata venye natembelea.
These have helped her walk around and even carry out routine duties. The firstborn in a family of 6 says she is lucky to have even gone to school since her father does not value education. She scored a C- in the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE examination last year. Jacinta's dream is to become a lawyer to defend the rights of persons with disabilities. David Erot, a programs officer at Save the Children, met Jacinta during a disability mainstreaming assessment and connected her to resources to enable her attend school.
Then we supported her to remove those barriers to enable her to learn.
Erot, who himself lost his left limb to polio at the age of 7, recounts the challenges he underwent.
I remember of a situation when I was in standard 4 where everybody in class was like, I can't sit with Amajon on one desk because he's disabled, and also the teachers. Every time and then the teacher looks as if you can't do much in education.
The community does so in disregard of the Constitution. Article 54 says, a person with any disability is entitled to be treated with dignity and respect and to be addressed in a manner that is not demeaning.
We have been having several cases of children with disability abuse, but the community take it normal and say this is just useless person.
Persons with disability also have a right to access education institutions. Bellington Lokua, acting disability service officer, is also a survivor of the barbaric culture. One night, when he was 5 years old, his father threw him into Lake Turkana.
Wakati wazungu walinichukua, wakati nilitupwa Lake Turkana, hiyo usiku wa manane, nilikuwa na 5 years. Sikuwa natembea, sababu nilikuwa na polio kwa miguu zote.
So deeply entrenched is this retrogressive culture. It prevents mothers from accessing care for their children with disabilities. Concepta Longole, a physiotherapist in Lodwar County Referral Hospital, says, despite proper sensitization, some mothers are unwilling to take the children through therapy sessions.
For a child born with a clubfoot, that is congenital child Pasipino virus, the child was referred after like 2 weeks to our facility. We wanted to start the kid on the consent method, but the mother refused completely. She cited that this kid, the way she is, it's like her destiny is over. Let her just take her home and then God will decide its fate.
Esther Ngilimon says, since she began work as a birth attendant, 3 deliveries were of children born with disabilities.
Lakini hawakupendelea sana, ili watu wanasaa hiyo mtoto, hawakutakanga hiyo mtoto. Walikuwa wanatupanga watoto wale wakwete. Asema ni kaburi.
Ngilimon says she has been ridiculed whenever she advised mothers to keep the babies. Just like the Turkana culture referred to persons with disabilities as graves, many traditional African cultures didn't want to associate with persons with disabilities. But with inclusivity, persons with disabilities have proven unique abilities. Imani Sudi, Channel 1 News in Chukultom Village, Turkana County.
Thank you very much, Imani Sudi, for that report. Supremacy battles between Kirinyaga County Governor Anne Waiguru and Women Representative Purity Ngirishi have once again come to the fore. This time round, Ngirishi claims to have been blocked from delivering donations to a children's home in the area following an order by the county government. The two leaders have been embroiled in political supremacy wars, with Ngirishi accusing Waiguru of undermining her position in the county. Details of this and other highlights in the county news roundup. Kirinyaga Woman Representative Purity Ngirishi says she had sent her donations of food, mattresses and shoes on Sunday morning, only to be denied access to the home. The management claiming they were acting on orders from the county government.
Kwani county ni kina nani? Kwani watu wa Kirinyaga walichagua nani? Kwani hawalikunichagua mimi? Hata hakuna mtu katika Kirinyaga county ambaye alichaguliwa kama mimi. Nilichaguliwa na kura mingi sana, na nikaambia watu wa Kirinyaga county hata kama ni kutoka kwa mfuko yangu nitasaidia mpaka wakati Mungu atapenda.
Elsewhere, the National Police Service has introduced what it terms as an open door policy to help address personal matters affecting police officers. The policy will see officers gain unrestricted access to services such as counseling to help reduce suicidal incidences related to frustrations. In Mombasa County, an initiative to champion moral values and unity has been launched in the wake of threats posed by negative exposure. Council of Imams and Preachers of Kenya Organizing Secretary Sheikh Mohammed Khalifa says the initiative, organized in conjunction with security agents, aims at inculcating good morals among young people who are the backbone of the society.
Kuwaganya ya kwamba makundi mabaya hayana faida.
Meanwhile, the St. John Ambulance has launched a new training program targeting school-going children. St. John Ambulance Commander Benson Odor says the initiative will see students play key roles in the society during emergencies.
It's important that in every group of students going out, we need to have at least 2 of the first aiders, so that the first aiders, they may not be in debating club, they may not be in athletics, they may not be doing the drama, but if they are amongst the team going out, they'll be going there to serve the other students.
In Nyandarua County, a family is seeking justice after their son was allegedly assaulted by his teachers, leaving him nursing serious injuries. In a case of corporal punishment gone bad, the family of Jeremiah Kamau wants stern action taken against the perpetrators to act as an example to those still meting out corporal punishment despite its ban.
Sasa tunataka serikali igirie na sana iyo bwana iyo maigirie maone. Sasa sisi wasasi tutakaa wapi tukiwa unapeleka mtoto shule na mwalimu akuwe ndiye atatoa usazi wake aiwe kutoka siku hiyo hakuna kusaa pena.
In Kapenguria, small-scale traders at the Makutano Shopping Center have raised concern over a decision by West Pokot County government to demolish their stores. It is alleged that county enforcement officers flattened their stores at night without issuing affected traders with a vacate notice.
Unaambiwa wewe unaongea kama nani? Umevunja vibanda, mimi mwenyewe niko na loan 1300 katika Transnational Bank. Tuko tunauliza tutalipiwa na nani?
Finally, Equity Group Holdings Chief Executive Officer James Mwangi has been named the 2018 African Banker of the Year during the 12th edition of the African Bankers Awards. Equity Group beat strong competition to win the award and was fitted for driving financial inclusion, new services and new technologies, effectively leading to the growth of the financial sector. And before we take another break, John Jacob Kioria is in studio tonight. He is speaking to the Kenya Film and Classification Board CEO Ezekiel Butua. Of course, a lot has been happening, John Jacob, because your guest tonight is really famous. I don't know whether to call him famous or infamous with Kenya's online audience or those who really spend a lot of time online on Twitter, Facebook, you name it?
All right. Like you said, Ezekiel Mutua is with us in studio, the CEO of the Kenya Film Classification Board. And for the last 1 week or so, he has been on the trends, particularly on Twitter, obviously because of a misunderstanding, also if you would call it so, bearing in mind the accusations that have been meted against the KFCB on the issues of licensing. But that is why he is here, to set the record straight. Number one, Edward Kabasa, to talk about what is the role of KFCB when it comes to filming in Kenya, how much you're supposed to pay for a license and stuff like that. But most importantly, again, there's the moral question that Ezekiel has been trying to propagate in Kenya in terms of how do we ensure that our creative industry does not offend the moral values of the Republic. And again, what are these moral values we're speaking about? So tonight on Family Matters, there's a sit down really, or a chat with Ezekiel Mutua. We'll ask the questions, but most importantly, again, if you want to engage constructively, and particularly if you have any question as regards his work, it is welcome. 22162 is the SMS line. On Twitter at KBC Channel 1, the hashtag is Family Matters. It's a sit down with Ezekiel Mutua. It will be coming right after the sports news.
All right. No good to far.
Take your ones, your 50s, put your hundreds to your shoes. And to my friend, you know I love you. There's no way to the world. No way, baby. We might weather.
Oh, good evening, and thank you for joining us for Channel 1 Sports. I'm Richard Munga. Now, Boniface Mukeke scored a brace that helped Nakumatt FC comfortably beat Posta Rangers 2-0 in a Kenya Premier League match that was played at Camp Toyoyo grounds in Nairobi. In Nakuru, Sofapaka claimed a 2-1